Hi there, Lisa Casey. We are on Flipgrid today, and this is how you can create a group. So I'm in the discussion tab, and this was previously called grids. They changed the name of it, but it's the same thing, this groups tab up here. And this is basically adding classes. So creating a space where you can post many different activities and topics for your same students to access. So I have a few different groups, pardon me, already created. A few for my classes. I have some for like Summer Institute, some for the Social Studies Choice Board. So these just kind of help me to collect my topics in the right space and then share them with the right people. So if I want to, I can create a group and I'll add a name. So let's call this period 2. And then I have this join code here. So if I want to, I can share that join code with students and they can use that on flipgrid.com to join this group so that they are a part of it. They know when new things are posted, and everything I post has the same permissions for these students. So I can give them the join code if I want to, but I can also add my students a couple different ways. So one way to do it is to add by student email. So this is adding the domains for both the teacher and the student so that I can access it and my students can. So I'm going to start with the teacher, bremertonschools.org. And then I'm also going to add the domain for students, which is bsdstudents.org. So if I have both of those things, students and teachers with those domains, with email addresses that end like that, they will be able to join, and that's it. So I can choose to do it that way. I can also import my Google Classrooms. So if you've not yet done this, it'll ask you to log in with Google and ask you a couple questions to connect Classroom to Flipgrid. But once you have it connected, you can select a class. And then Flipgrid will connect right to this Google Classroom. So those are the two I recommend, either student email or Google Classroom, whichever your preference might be. You can turn this on, which is email notifications. We have had some troubles between Google's filter system and Flipgrid. Sometimes students don't get our emails, but you can turn that on. You just might need to double check with your students to make sure that that is active and working. And you can also set the group to be active right away, or you can hide it if you do not want it to yet be active, or if it's an old one and you're ready to hide it. You can select some images to personalize your group. And then when we're ready, we'll click Create. Right, so this is the same code that we saw earlier, and I can share this link with students to join this grid. I can also post it right to Google Classroom. So either way is totally fine to connect our students to this group, which means that they will have access to all the topics that I post within this group. So basically, our groups are our class periods. They're the same as a Google Classroom. It just is a way to collect topics and responses and students within one space. So in my discussion tab, if I open up my new group, I can see any topics that I have created, and I can also see my students. So because I connected it to Google Classroom, my students are automatically imported here. They didn't need a link. They didn't need anything. And if I have updates coming from Classroom, I can sync the roster and it will go grab any new students or get rid of any old students as well. So that is how you can create a group. Once we're in here, you can add a copilot if you want to add another teacher. You can give them the same parameters that you have. So you can add a co-teacher here by typing in their email. And then from here, you have a couple different options too. You can double check the notifications. You can delete it if it's getting old or obsolete. And then you can also duplicate it. So if you have multiple periods, if I want this to look the same for my first period, I can go ahead and duplicate it. And then I can give it a new name for period 1. So that is how to create groups in Flipgrid. They were formerly known as grids. Now they are known as groups, but basically it's just a place for you to gather your topics and your students in one space. Thanks for watching.